And as I look, I mean, I'm just a country boy from Ohio, but as I look at your resume and bio, other than the degrees from Michigan, it's impressive. It's amazing the things you have done. In fact, immediately after the attacks, everybody said you did a great job, right? I mean, you look at the addendum here. Wendy Sherman said you did an outstanding job. Bill Burns, Deputy Secretary of State, great work, heroic efforts. You got a phone. Isn't it true, Mr. Hicks? I think you cited this in your opening statement. The Secretary Clinton gave you a call immediately after the attacks and said you did an outstanding job under extreme circumstances?
Yes, sir. We had the first call at 2 a.m. and then again a video conference with our staff.
And isn't it also true the President of the United States called you up and said, you know what, Mr. Hicks, you did an outstanding job again under severe circumstances?
He did call me, sir.
And all that seems to change. You're getting all this praise and support, but all that seems to change, and it seems to change in the phone call you were on that Mr. Gowdy referenced in his questioning, the phone call you got from Beth Jones. Is that accurate?
Yes. At a phone call after the interview, I asked.
This is after Secretary Rice has went on television and misled the American people. You're on a phone call with Beth Jones, and it all seems to change then because you asked Beth Jones what?
I asked her why the ambassador had said there was a demonstration when the embassy had reported only an attack.
And again, what kind of response did you get from Beth Jones when you asked that question?
She said, I don't know.
Was it like you shouldn't be asking that question, you should be quiet, we don't want to talk about that? What was the sense you got?
The sense I got was that I needed to stop the line of questioning.
And did things continue to deteriorate between you and your superiors? After they've given you all this praise, you've had this outstanding service record, 22 years serving our country, things began to deteriorate even more. And as I read the transcript, it seems to me that it came to a head in phone calls you were on with lawyers from the Department of State prior to Congressman Chaffetz coming to visit in Libya. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
And tell me about those conversations, what those lawyers instructed you to do on Mr. Chaffetz's visit to Libya.
I was instructed not to allow the RSO, the acting deputy chief of mission, and myself to be personally interviewed by Congressman Chaffetz.
So the people at State told you don't talk to the guy who's coming to investigate?
Yes, sir.
Said don't talk with the congressman? Now you've had several congressional delegations come to various places you've been around the world. Has that ever happened where lawyers get on the phone to you prior to a congressional delegation coming to investigate a time when we've had 4 Americans lose their lives? Have you ever had anyone tell you, don't talk with the people from Congress coming to find out what took place?
Never.
Never. And you've had dozens and dozens of congressional delegations that you've been a part of?
Yes, sir.
First time it's ever happened?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about, and also, isn't it true that one of those lawyers on the phone call accompanied the folks on the delegation and tried to be in every single meeting you had with Mr. Chaffetz and the delegation from this committee?
Yes, sir. That's true.
Tell me what happened when you got a classified briefing with Mr. Chaffetz. What happened and the phone call that happened after that?
The lawyer was excluded from the meeting because his clearance was not high enough, and the delegation had insisted that the briefing not be limited by any.
Did the lawyer try to get in that briefing?
He tried, yes, but the annex chief and would not allow it because the briefing needed to be at the appropriate level of clearance.
And you had a subsequent conversation after this classified briefing that the lawyer was not allowed to be in, with you and Mr. Chaffetz and others on that delegation. And you had another conversation on the phone with Cheryl Mills. Tell me, who is Cheryl Mills?
She was counselor for the Department of State and chief of staff to Secretary Clinton.
That's a pretty important position?
Yes, sir.
When she calls, you take the phone call?
Immediately.
Yeah, she's the fixer for the Secretary of State. She is as close as you can get to Secretary Clinton. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
And tell me about that phone call you had with Cheryl Mills.
A phone call from that senior person is, generally speaking, not considered to be good news.
And what did she have to say to you?
She demanded a report on the visit.
Was she upset by the fact that this lawyer was not, this
was upset.
Babysitter, this spy, whatever you want to call him, was not allowed to be in that? First time it's ever happened, all the congressional delegations you've ever entertained was not allowed to be in that classified briefing. Was she upset about that fact?
She was very upset.
So this goes right to the person next to Secretary Clinton. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, here's a guy with 22 years of outstanding service to our country. 22 years. Outstanding service, praised by everybody who counts, the president, the secretary, everyone above him. and yet now they're obstructing it because he won't help them cover this up. He's an honorable man here telling the truth. Now is getting this kind of treatment from the very people who praised him before. This is why this hearing is so important. I yield.